Hi, I'm Kahil. Welcome to Full STEM Ahead, Long Island. Whether you realize it or not, all around us are marvels of engineering. Thousands of jobs are connected to making things work so well that you don't even have to think about it. For example, there's lots of activity underneath this serene Massapequa Preserve. I'm in one of my favorite places, the Massapequa Park Preserve, with Sarah and Mark of Cameron Engineering. Your company was involved with a big project that has a lot to do with keeping this preserve as beautiful as it is. Can you tell me a little bit about that?
This stream, many years ago, it was a great trout fishing place. Everybody's cesspools and septic tanks used to recharge the groundwater table. Sewers were installed in the late 1960s. With sewers, all that water that used to be recharged to the aquifer is now taken down to the facility in Wantor, and the final product after treatment is pumped 3 miles out into the Atlantic Ocean. So that water that used to recharge the aquifer is no longer there. It results in the streams drying up. So we had to pump water 2 miles up to the headwaters of the creek. We had to install devices to collect the sediments, collect the floatables, so that that trash and sediments no longer comes into the stream.
Fishing at Massapequa, New York. Nice, decent bluegill there.
Now we have trout swimming right underneath this bridge, and they're swimming 2 miles up and wintering over, which hadn't happened in decades.
And when I think about engineering, I usually think about somebody with a yellow hard hat on, looking at blueprints in front of a bridge or a building.
Well, actually, engineering encompasses so many different types of work. Cameron Engineering itself has planners, environmental engineers, wastewater engineers, mechanical and electrical.
So is this considered environmental engineering?
This project had all different disciplines involved because you had mechanical engineers involved in the design of the pump to actually pump the water to the head of the river. You had landscape architecture for the shoring up of the creek so that material wouldn't fall into the water. You have wastewater engineering to deal with the runoff and how to recharge the actual surrounding water bodies. You had civil engineers who dealt with the structural aspects of making sure that nothing fell into the water. And of course, environmental engineering. You want to know about the water quality, you want to know about what material is actually around the area that you're working with.
That's pretty awesome. Did you always want to be an engineer?
I actually used to steal my brother's Legos all the time. I used to build cities around our house. My brother was not too happy about that, but my parents always supported my interest in building, and they would let me keep my greatest structures on the high shelf in my room.
Sunday night I used to watch Jacques Cousteau. So armed with a degree in oceanography, I came out and I ended up getting into the water and wastewater treatment field.
Engineering is fantastic because it's very collaborative. You have people like Mark and I who have different backgrounds working on the same project, and you take a little bit of all of our knowledge to get to the right answer to how to fix that problem.
And when you do that choreography, you end up with a great project like Massapequa Preserve.
What would you say to kids who want to get into engineering?
As Long Islanders, it's key that people take an interest in the beauty that's around it, in the environment and their waterways. Our drinking water comes from below us, the aquifers below. So from an engineering perspective, how do we treat the sewage that is generated from using the water? You want to make sure that those things are taken care of.
We just came from Massapequa Preserve, and now I'm with John Cameron, the founder of Cameron Engineering.
We do varied disciplines in engineering, from planning to civil, electrical, mechanical, structural, environmental. In fact, all various disciplines that you saw in practice at the Massapequa Preserve.
Did you always want to be an engineer?
When I was young, I wanted to be a professional baseball player, but I soon learned that that was not going to be a reality. One of my high school teachers had told me, he says, "You're good at math, you should really be an engineer." I didn't even know anybody who was an engineer. I started off in actually nuclear power and then got into environmental engineering. It became my passion.
Engineers plan, design, and build so many things.
Do you think it makes a difference for students to meet engineers personally?
Many years ago, I was asked to speak to my daughter's 6th grade class. My wife ran into one of my daughter's classmates many years later. She said, "Oh, what's Michael doing?" I says, "Oh, you don't know." He says, "He became an engineer." He says, "You know, Christine Cameron's dad came in today and told us all about what engineers do. I want to be an engineer."
Engineering is not a profession for everyone, but for those that choose it, it can be a great career.
When we interview prospective interns, we try and find out from them that they have a thirst for learning, because the one thing about our field, and for me personally, the more we learn, the more we realize we don't know. So it's a very humbling profession. For those that could be so stimulated, so interested, they like challenges, like problem solving, engineering can be a great career.
As you can see, or not see, engineering is everywhere, and Long Island is home to some of the best. If you're enthralled by engineering and like to problem solve and build things that work, learn more at listemhub.org.